Guys, welcome. It's Dr. Green, the Road Scholar. Still at Planet Fitness. Just finished my workout and everything. A beautiful Sunday morning. Guys, bring another story to you about something that does affect truckers, fuel prices and everything, and how we are listening to the wrong people and everything. But anyway, guys, if you like my stuff, might like my stories, like my videos, hit subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment for me too. If there's anything else you want to hear about, let me know. I will try to get back into the dark lease or something next week because there has been some changes, some pay raises and everything else that I'll let you guys know about on my next video. Guys, don't forget, hit subscribe, hit like, comment. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Green, the Road Scholar, coming back at you with another little story about Joe Biden and the fuel prices. I'm going to try to explain to you guys why this isn't Joe Biden's fault. Now, I know a lot of my listeners on here and everything are Republicans and conservatives and everything, but guys, y'all are being misled by the media. By the right-wing media and some of these oil companies and big corporations that just want another Republican candidate, which I want another Republican candidate in office too. But I don't think we should lie about it and manipulate and get people all angered up and worked up over it at each other over these fuel prices. Because let me tell you, Joe Biden doesn't control the fuel prices. I know a lot of people are going to sit here and explain, well, we were exporting fuel under Trump and now we're not exporting. Yeah, we're still exporting fuel when we want to. The problem is fuel goes for a certain price per barrel, and our oil companies here in America have decided that when the gas fuel prices went way down and everything, we quit exporting as much because it wasn't worth it to keep drilling. What happened is OPEC and Russia and all them turned out their spigots to flood the market so the price would go down to drive America back out of the market. That's what happened. And that's what they continue to do and will always continue to do. They know they can produce it cheaper over there than we can over here. And in order to push America out of the market, they just turn up the faucets a little bit, produce more oil, and push America back into where we can't afford to keep going, so we stop producing. So what our oil companies have started doing is now capping the oil wells. They drill them. They're drilling them today. They're drilling them all over the United States right now. Every day they're drilling new holes, but they're capping them. They're not pumping them. And people go, well, that's because Joe Biden regulated and took away the leases. First of all, there's over 9,000 leases now out to the U.S. to these oil companies, and they are not tapping on any of them hardly. So no, that is not true. Joe Biden did not put one single regulation in or new regulatory act or anything else that will stop an oil company from producing oil. If you think of one, show me. Now, did he pull back the leases? Yes, he tried to pull back the federal leases. However, a federal state judge stepped in and told him he couldn't do that. So now the leases are flowing again, no problem. So really, in all honesty, all y'all blaming Joe Biden for not pumping in America, not drilling in America. We've been drilling in America every single day. Let there be no doubt. You can go down to West Texas, you can go to Louisiana, you can go up to Pennsylvania, you can go up to the Dakotas, you can go anywhere. They're drilling daily. So that's a lie. What has driven up the price is inflation. Now, that is Joe Biden's fault. Inflation should not be where it's at. But, the Democrats want to shut the whole country down over the pandemic and everything. And now we have not been able to reboot. And then right after that, Russia follows up with a war. So, things happen which tighten the supply. And then on top of that, America was so stupid that we put a ban on Russian oil coming into America. That's not hurting Russia. Russia's just going to go sell their oil other places. That's hurting America because now our prices have went up for something, and Russia's still doing what they're doing. I had to slow them down a bit. Oh, the whole world's Russia's been dealing with sanctions since George Bush Jr. So these sanctions aren't doing anything to. They're used to them. They're not sweating these sanctions at all. They just keep rolling around along. The only ones the sanctions are really hurting are us. Now, does that say that we shouldn't sanction and keep the oil out? No, it's not. Of course, I'm not saying that. I do believe that Russia should be under sanctions and everything. I think it should be further than sanctions, but that's how our little peon government handles things now. Sanctions, like they have ever worked. Nowhere has sanctions ever worked. They haven't worked in North Korea. They haven't worked in Iran. They haven't worked in Russia. They haven't worked with Iraq. They're not working. They never will work. Sorry. Fact. People will adapt and overcome. And they did. So the sanctions aren't working, but that's what we're doing. But to sit here and blame Joe Biden for the fuel prices is just wrong. The American companies now, prices are over $110 a barrel right now. So if it was making enough money at $45 a barrel for them to export, pump and export, then it's making enough money right now for them to pump and export. Here's what the American companies know that you don't. They know this is a temporary crisis. And they're not going to sit here and spend all the money building up all their infrastructure, start pumping oil and take it to these refineries and everything. And then 4, 5, 6 months from now, maybe even a year, 2 years from now, the price drops back down again. When all this Ukraine thing is settled, and America, we get a different president in there, different leaders in Congress, and they get rid of this inflation and everything, the fuel price start dropping back down, and then all these oil companies that put all this infrastructure in place to pump this oil will be losing money because they'll have to shut it all back down again. So what they're doing is they're holding on to the oil until the rest of the world starts running out, which won't be long, for another 30, 40, 50 years, and then they'll start pumping it out more. Okay, so why is it, then a lot of people say, so why is it we were exporting oil under Trump and not under Biden? We weren't. We actually started exporting oil under Obama because, well, Trump he was president-elect in 2015, but Obama was still president. But really, the truth is, neither one of them had anything to do with exporting oil. Congress, a Republican-run Congress, in December 2015, decided to lift the ban on the exporting of oil. That's the reason we were able to export under Trump and not under anyone else. And we're still able to export under Biden. The oil companies just choosing not to. Biden did not say they couldn't export oil. No one put any restrictions on them, nothing like that. The oil companies just simply are not doing it. So when you want to say, I don't mind. I don't mind when the Democrats mess up and liberals mess up and everything. I'll be the first one to point it out. But I'm not a hypocrite. When you're sitting here blaming stuff on Biden, stuff that has nothing to do with him, that he really has no control over, I'm going to let you know that too. Now, a lot of people getting out here, oh, well, you know, they got exploratory costs, and they're doing that every day on these leases. They're exploring them anyway, every day. So sit here and say that they're wasting money and not that most of these 60% of these holes will be dried. No, that's not true. 90% of those holes will produce. They know what they're doing. They've been doing this a long time. They know what to look for. They got all the computer programs and everything set up. They know how to find oil. 90% of the time that they go exploring, they hit oil. And you got to realize, federal lease isn't the only lease for oil out here. They also got a lot of private leases all over the place. Most of what you see is on private land. So all those are still producing, or can produce. So why they're not, I have no idea. Why the oil companies are allowing us to tap into our emergency reserve? I guess because they're waiting on the price to go up. So guys, understand that there's over 9,000 federal leases that they're not tapping into. They're drilling into some of them, seeking holes and everything. They're just not pumping oil out of. Well, that's because of regulations. No new regulations have been put in place. Not one. If you show me one, I'll back off my argument. Nothing. They need public easements. Along with the lease comes the easements. Real estate law 101. Hello, wake up. So all these excuses I've heard from everybody on here and trying to explain to me. First of all, I worked in the oil fields as a truck driver. I've seen how they operate. I know how it works. I know how they get easements. I know how they drill. I know how long it takes them to drill. I know what they do with after they drill. They're not putting them in pumping stations. They're capping them off and waiting. So you guys can sit here and say, I don't know what I'm talking about all I want to. Seen it.